Well,
right?
and
So,
I've learned that too for my own process is to just if I don't really understand why there's something triggering me again, instead of fixating on that annoying feeling, I'll just like put it in my heart and I'll go, okay, this is here for a reason. I will figure it out. I ask for insight
Yep.
on what it is, and it usually will come to me when I'm not thinking, because it's the thinking for me that when I'm trying to figure it out, then I'm being far too much in my head and being it'll logically make sense if I just feel it rather than trying to make it
Yep.
make sense.
Yep.
And then that happens with other people too. Like even with Ethan, we were talking about something else on the way home, and he was talking to me, and my logical mind was going, I don't know, this doesn't sound like what it is. And I just was like, I didn't really have much to say. And then I just let it sit, and I was, making supper and doing some things, and then it hit me. I was like, "Oh, wait. Hey, hey, buddy,
It's like,
I got something for you." But that
mhm.
happens to me too, like
yeah.
with our friend that was over the other day. It wasn't until the next day because I could feel it and I have to sit with it because I don't necessarily have an answer in that moment. If people ask me a question or something, but I can feel that there's other information or an other perception to share.
Yep.
And then it hit me the next day and I went, "Oh, okay. That's
Yep.
okay, that's what it is." So I've had to learn how to stop thinking so much.
Well, this is
Yeah, I
this is.
mean, you know what I was like
Oh
with
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's very literal. Very,
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 very.
very
Oh my
super,
gosh,
super
yeah,
literal. I mean, one of the things
yeah.
that I mean, and I've grown up this way. Like this is how I've been my entire life. So it's very fascinating to watch people grow into the space of feeling the energy, the information, the dimension of the information, and integrating it physically and learning
Hmm.
how to be more aware of that. Um, that's why I am super careful about asking questions
Mhm.
because I'm like,
Mhm.
can I have
Poof,
like just like
download of
the
information.
breakdown,
Delete,
like the cold
delete.
bullet
Yeah,
points? Because
download of information.
I've
Yeah,
got stuff to do the next few days. I can't be like
I don't want to
on the
be.
couch
Yeah.
or throwing
Mhm.
up or like
That's true. You
whatever.
have to really be specific, like when you're actually asking for something to be very specific, because otherwise you can get so much stuff that you're not,
Mm.
prepared
Well,
for
and
or
and
to integrate
I mean,
so
this is
much.
also the thing about like physical discernment, being able to
Mhm.
feel, understanding what you're feeling, why you're feeling it,
Yeah,
how you're feeling it.
yeah.
Is it more mental information? Is it more mental energy, or is it actually like emotional, physical, heart centered energy? The different
Mhm.
layers. This is why I like understanding. Yeah, the dimensions. Um, I mean, I've always been super intuitive and very logical in a way that is more uh definitely about how things fit together structurally. I'm a huge structure guy. And this is one of the reasons why I
Yeah.
love the martial
So
arts,
mine.
why I love qigong, because it makes sense to me. It totally, utterly makes sense to me.
Mm,
Um, like I love martial arts because it was like a puzzle, figuring how things fit, right?
yeah.
How to move the most efficiently. And and it's one of the things that I use to help me understand my own gifts and how my own awareness like to have things lined up, like to have things fit, but not necessarily of course my ego was always like, well, we want them to fit this way and it should look like this, be
Yeah.
painted blue
And yeah,
here and
yeah, you
painted
gotta
green
watch that,
there and
right?
blah blah blah, right? And it's just like, yeah, but that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure it does. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it
Well,
makes sense for me
yeah,
now.
well,
It's
that's
like,
the allowing
uh,
part, right? Is that
yeah.
you like the structure, but also to know that it might turn out differently than what you
Well, especially
expect it to
especially
be.
being precognitive. Oh my god, that
Yeah,
was
you
such
have to
a
be careful not to get fixated on those things when you see
that
them.
was my biggest
Yeah.
challenge. My biggest challenge because I could
Mm.
go into that precognitive space and feel that thread of creation and the information, all of the information there, everybody in that space of that potential reality. And sometimes I'd be like, oh wow, like I'd be fixated on it for weeks at a time, and I just like
Mhm.
loop it like a movie
Mm.
because it was like such an amazing
Yeah.
feeling or experience or whatever. And then it's like, okay,
Well, that's
reality's
actually
knocking on the
yeah.
door, and it's like time to pay the bills and
Yeah.
Mm.
That's actually
make the food to
something
fill the belly.
that's something that you and I've had to work through too, because as your partner, like I can get drawn into his potentials because you tend to see so many
Yeah,
different threads of potentials. Whereas me, I know if something actually, when you say it, I've learned how to go, does that actually feel right for me though?
yeah.
Does that actually feel like that's, you know,
Well,
a direction
and
we need to go, or is it another, like, because sometimes I'll be like, nope, I don't feel that for me. So it doesn't
Mm,
mean that you can't do something, but right.
and for me, I mean, the biggest lesson is understanding this timing, because there have been places where, oh wait, well, I felt this so strongly, like maybe it's like just around the corner. 10 years later, walk into the building that I dreamt about.
yeah.
15 years before, I'm like,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
oh, oh, this has got nothing to do with me. This is someone else's dream. This is some blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay,
Mm,
right.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I was like understanding how to feel and how to be present with everything, and understanding the structure of like what it actually fits with
Yeah.
Yeah.
is so important. Which, and this is, yeah, like Ethan's comment about, or question
Mhm.
about, what's the difference between realities, worlds, and dimensions.
Yeah, because I think we were talking about some of the ghost things you've sent us on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
We have like a family chat, so and then we send each other, things that are interesting.
Well, we started
And
watching ghost shows together,
well, yeah, we
and
watch all the ghost
Oh.
shows and we like to watch them because then we actually know, like, you get to feel like what's real and what's not.
Oh, yeah.
It's an interesting exercise, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you were also sending us other things. I think you sent us all the things about aliens or something.
yeah,
Something I put together. I don't know.
there's like a
So he was, and I made
yeah,
a comment to him today because I can't remember what he asked me about. And my comment though was, well, there's the veils are thinning between certain realities that are going to like merge together. That's how I feel. I don't know what that's going to look like or when or whatever. And I don't know, maybe that won't even be true, but
yep,
that's kind of what I'm feeling
yep,
right now.
yep.
And he was like, "Well, how do you know? Like, what do you mean by that?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I don't even know how to explain that. It's a feeling I have. I
Yeah,
don't really know how to put that into words." So I was
yeah.
like, "Where's Callie?"
The feeling of knowing and understanding is an entirely unique dimension of reality, and it is
Yeah.
its own world. And this is one of the things where, as you were saying earlier,
Mm,
April, like people want to go to, like, they want to ascend to the fifth and sixth dimension, and they want to figure out how to go there. It's like, yeah, this isn't physical travel. This is, heart travel. This is like digging through all of the blockages and the emotional trauma, mental trauma that is keeping you from being aligned with your heart.
And so
yeah.
you can actually vibrate at that frequency.
Yep.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's what it is right there.
Yep.
So I had for the longest time, you guys, I when I was a kid, and actually still a lot in my life, I spent a lot of time in my own head, but not just in my own head, in my own body.
Mm,
Like things were happening around me, but I had such a, a dialogue going on inside of me
mm,
about that person's really angry. That person's not really telling the truth. That's not what they're going to
yeah.
like. I just had this constant internal dialogue. So I've always had that. But for the longest time, the past, present, future thing just really kind of, um, I never really fully understood completely. Like, how can you tell me that I'm part of the past? And how can you tell me I'm part of the future when I'm right here, right now? This is where I am. And when you understand not only the energy, but the body, and that everything is all, everything is one, always is. So it's this picture, like when you're a kid in school and it's the sun, and then you have this grass, and then the cow eats the grass, and then you eat the cow. That's all one.
Yep.
But even further than that, this planet, while the countries may have moved or shifted or what have you, it's the same water.
Yep.
It's the same water. It's the same air. And you have been part of that air, that one cell, that creator this
Yep.
whole time.
Yep.
So it is part of the past. It is part of and it will be part of it. So it is all one. It's one continuum.
Hmm.
The key is getting in touch with your space,
Yep.
which is within your body, that is right here and right now. And
Mm,
that is one of the bigger lessons also is really getting in touch with your own space, your own reality, your own world, and then figuring out how to, navigate this world
Mhm.
and not be, and I think the world is shifting, it is shifting. Um, we have been so dense for so long.
Mhm.
And that is the shift. That is, eh, the higher dimensions that we're all seeking because
Mhm.
we have this belief that it's wonderful, right? In these higher dimensions,
Mhm.
it's so grand, and perhaps it is. Or it's, maybe it's a little easier than third dimension. However, in order to get lighter, to vibrate at a higher frequency, you have to remove all the things that are dense.
Yep.
And then their traumas will resurface, the lessons will resurface, the ancestral things will resurface, and perhaps you're the one to work on the ancestral things
Mhm.
because we are moving. You chose to be here at this time where we are moving to that faster frequency. I am super excited about that. I may not see it before my lifetime ends, but I am super excited we're going there.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
that is the integrated process. That that's the process that I see.
Yep. Yeah,
Mhm.
I
Yes.
completely
Okay.
agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
It is one of those things where it's the feeling, it's the knowing. Like you know it in your bones. You can feel it in your bones. It's literally like you just have to like open the curtains and like it's that close. Like it's literally outside the window. You can almost see it with your eyeballs, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And you have to be in touch with the body to do that.
Good.
And the body wasn't always like my thing. I've always actually been, when I was little, I did gymnastics for like 7 years. I was always moving, running. Yeah, I did it for a long time. Um, and, you know, I've always been a person that I'm constantly doing something.
Mhm.
I don't have to be constantly doing something, but I am constantly doing something. So moving the body, when I am stagnant, I'm depressed.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
more dense.
Mhm. Mhm.
My frequency is slower. So when people say, well, you raise your, oh, how do you do that? What's that?
You
What
move.
is a raise your
Yep.
frequency?
Yep.
Right? What is that?
Yep.
And, it's
Yeah.
when you're holding, and for so many years, so many of us has been so afraid to deal with these traumas, deal with these issues, and we just held them.
Mhm.
That keeps you at that low frequency,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And
Mhm.
but being able to deal with the headache or the whatever it is to cry, it's a
Yeah.
release.